there any other business to come before the Wildlife Management Committee? Okay, turn it back over to you, Mr. Chair.
This time, we'd like Harold Cannon is going to handle the Government Relations Committee report.
On behalf of Chairperson Woodson, the committee recognizes Nat Johnson, TWRA Legislative Liaison.
Thank you. I'd like to report that the legislature concluded their business this past Friday for the first session of the 108th General Assembly. As I said last time, we really didn't have any bills of great impact to the agency. I think I was able to spend more time building relations this time rather than fending off legislation, and I think we found some real new partners that are really behind the agency, and I think we made a lot of progress in that area. So all in all, it was a very successful session for us. Of course, they will be back the first Tuesday in January of 2014. All the bills that were filed this year will lay over until next year, so we'll have those and a few more to deal with next year. We'll just have to see how that goes. There was one item of particular interest to the majority of the employees of the agency. As you know, many of the employees of the agency are paid on a salary plan that's a result of a survey of the southeastern states. Each year, that survey is taking place, but the funding of it is subject to appropriation. It has not been funded for the past several years, and we had gotten where that our survey was showing that we were 7% behind what the southeastern state average was for job classes. Each year, the director recommends and the commission approves a letter to the Commissioner of Finance Administration asking for full implementation of that salary survey. This year, the governor recommended the same increase on the salary survey of 1.5% that he did for state employees. That would have still left the survey quite a bit behind. There was also money appropriated for general state employees to upgrade many of their job classifications. It's $50+ million appropriated to do that. Even with that, the recommendation was still just a 1.5% increase for the employees on the pay plan. At the end of the session, there was an amendment to the appropriation bill filed by some members of the House and the Senate, and it covered both the employees of the Wildlife Agency and members of the Highway Patrol that are covered by their pay plan, and were successful in getting an additional 3% on that survey. So our employees that are covered by that survey will get the 1.5% that was already in the budget proposed by the governor, an additional 3% for a 4.5% increase on the salary survey. And those employees who are not at the top of the range will get their step in addition to that. Now, our general classification employees will more than likely receive some additional increases, but all that will be based on whatever job class that they're in, whatever the market salary survey study shows that they should be adjusted. But we're pleased to get that additional increase for the officers and kept them with that increase. They're still behind the southeastern states average, but it brought them a whole lot closer and kept them on par with the other commissioned officers in the state that are covered by mandated pay plans. But we had a lot of friends in both the House and the Senate to put individual amendments in to make that happen, and we're very appreciative of what they did for us. Last month at the commission meeting, brought to your attention some information about some concerned farmers that were in southeast Tennessee and in McMillin County specifically that were having some issues with wild hogs, crop depredation. You requested that we have a meeting with those people. We held that meeting this past Friday. The senators and representatives were still in session, were not able to attend. We had that meeting. Commissioner McMillin was there, Steve Patrick, several, Commissioner McMillin, Commissioner Cannon. I was looking right at you and said, excuse me. Sorry, you didn't know you were there. But, yeah. Commissioner Cannon attended that meeting along with several personnel from Region 3. We found a very receptive crowd, very receptive group of farmers toward us giving them assistance in addressing the hog issues that they have and especially in their row crop areas. What the result of that meeting was that the Wildlife Division was going to develop a plan. It was going to have both short-term, immediate actions to be taken and long-term goals to set out and actions to be taken where we would provide the majority of the resources to address these issues. And commitment was made last Friday to have that report back to them within 2 weeks. I think they're very pleased with the outcome of that meeting. I relayed that message back to Senator Bell and Representative Fogarty, and they were pleased with us being able to go and meet with those people, meet with their constituents, and come up with a plan to help address them. I think it was enlightening. It was very good to have a group of farmers there that were truly interested in dealing with the wild hog issue and working with us to come up with some control methods. And I think that we'll have a good outcome and a good working relationship with those farmers in McMillin County. Commissioner Cannon was there, and I think may have some additional remarks.
Well, Commissioner McMillin, you want to speak first on the meeting? No, that's, no, all kidding aside, that meeting was a tremendous compliment to our staff, specifically our Region 3 staff and the officers down there. I have never been a part of a meeting where our staff and our agency was received so positively, where they have said they want us to run with this issue, they want us to develop the plan. I wish you all could have been there, truly, because you would have been proud of the relationship that our folks have there. So my hat's off to Region 3, folks here today and the folks that aren't here. They did a heck of a job. And now at this legislative session, first, it's nice to have a report that we're still in business this year, but also you've done a tremendous job in carrying the torch for us, and we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. That's it. If you had more questions.
Is this your last presentation to the commission, or will you be here in May?
I believe I'll be here in May.
Okay. Well, then I'll code it over then, okay.
All right.
Trying to keep you out.
Well, no, I just thought since the legislator was historically finishing early, I didn't know if you were going to have another report. We wanted to properly thank you. So if you're going to be here in May, we'll hold it off.
I think I'll be here in May.
All right, that'd be great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Nat. At this time, the Budget Committee, Jeff Griggs, chairperson.
Mr. Chairman, the audit committee is not on the agenda today, and I think there's a gentleman in the crowd that has a question, and I will yield to Commissioner Cox or to you on this.
Would you like to address the commission? You have a question?
Yes, sir. I'm James Smith from Benton County. I'm a commercial fisherman. The question that I had was about the GAO audit that I understand was requested by the commissioners, and I'm just wondering if that is, you know, where it's at or what's going on with the GAO audit. And that's my question. No.
I've forgotten which commission meeting it was, if it was the last one or the one before, but Mike Kelly, who's serving as chair of the Commercial Fishing Advisory Committee, said there's a request from the group if we would write a letter asking the Government Accounting Office or Inspector General's office to investigate the Fish and Wildlife Service and why Tennessee was being held to a different standard than a lot of the other states. And I agreed that I would write that letter. Let me fast forward to tell you that I haven't written it. I dropped the ball on that one. But I did, in response to that, I told Mike that we would write a letter, but that I knew that the CITES convention was meeting, that they'd be giving their report in Washington shortly after that, so I went to that meeting. I personally talked to the director of the Fish and Wildlife Service on more than one occasion. I talked to Senator Alexander's staff, and I talked to Senator Alexander. I said, we've had this request, here's where we're going to be going with a letter to your office, to Senator Alexander's office. And I said, and to the Fish and Wildlife Service Director, I said, I just want you to know this is coming. I don't know what the correct language is, if we call it an investigation, if we just write a letter asking that we have an explanation, but essentially what we're asking is, why is Tennessee held to a different standard than some of the other states when we're all fishing for the same fish? And you might recall that some time ago, I wrote a letter to the Fish and Wildlife Service objecting to the standard of holding Tennessee on a statewide basis to a paddlefish restrictions when the study was done only on part of Kentucky Lake. And so we lodged that, and we did make that one. But again, I'm remiss for not writing the letter, but I talked to Mike Kelly yesterday, as a matter of fact, and he was asking me about that. And I told him the same thing, the report that I just gave you, and I said, I'll take care of that as quickly as I can. So sometime early next week, we'll get the finalized language and send that letter on. But I will tell you that they already know it's coming. We've talked to them twice now.
Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to call, excuse me, Darrell Radijak, Chief Wildlife Division. I think he's going to talk to us about a budget expansion partners project.
This hopefully will take less than 1 minute. We're requesting a budget expansion for $54,400. What that was, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service contacted us not too long ago to let us know that they had money available to put in wildlife habitat in Tennessee. And what this partners project is, it's a way for the Fish and Wildlife Service to get money to landowners, and so we usually contract through the Nature Conservancy. But the Fish and Wildlife Service can't give the money directly to the Nature Conservancy, so they have to come through us. So it's kind of like flow-through money for the Fish and Wildlife Service to get money to landowners, to the folks willing to put in habitat that will benefit species of greatest concern. And so we've done this in the past. It's completely federal money. Doesn't affect us one bit, but it's a way to come through us to get the money to Tennessee landowners. And we'd make this request to expand the budget by $54,400.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion from the Budget Committee.
Make a motion.
I have a motion to have a second. Second. Motion been made, properly made and seconded. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passed for Budget Expansion Partners Project, $54,400.
Thank you.
Next item is Gordon Martin. Gordon, we always save the best for last. Real estate report.
I'm not sure it's true, but I appreciate the comment. Commissioner, I'd like to go over a few items on the real estate report. Going down the report, in Chester County, we are buying a tract of land, 300 acres, with the assistance of Tennessee Parks and Greenways. We have an option signed by Parks and Greenways, but we have one problem. The environmental assessment came back that there were 51 tires and various mounds of trash on the property, and before General Service will allow us to close the transaction, we are working with Tennessee Parks and Greenway, DOT and Region 1 to get the property cleaned up, so we'll have a piece of property that won't be trashed, I guess is the best way to put it. Moving down, in Fayette County, we have 6 tracts that we closed yesterday morning. There were a total of 10 tracts, and we have 3 remaining. These 3 tracts, they have a hunting lease on them, and we're asking the Wolf River Conservancy to remove that hunting lease prior to us acquiring the property. Moving down to Hawkins County, this is Pearson Cave. This is an acquisition with the Nature Conservancy. These funds have been transferred to the closing agent to close, and they should be closing probably within the next 2 weeks. And then Jackson County, we're working with Tennessee Parks and Greenways again, and the funds for this transaction has also been transferred to the closing agent. And I might mention that Tennessee Parks and Greenway have given us a bargain sale of 1/2 of the fair market value. That's the kind of partners we like. Let's see. And going down to Van Buren and the last 4 in White County, these are tracts of land owned by the Cunningham Lumber Company. Those have passed the SPC for approval, and title work and appraisal is now in progress for those. I'll be happy to answer any questions if I may.
Mr. Cox?
You have a Fayette County map, this Turner Russ Dunn property that's got an in-hole that's not included, what's the, you know who owns that, or what's the status of that small rectangle? Who did that?
I believe that's a sewer facility, but I'll,
Like for a sewer facility?
I believe it is, yes.
Do you know if the Wolf River Conservancy is talking to the landowners between, and I'm guessing this blue, is that,
That's TWRA.
okay. Are they talking to anybody in between these two parcels to try to connect those? Do you know?
Actually, I don't know if they are. I know that they are talking with all the property owners along the Wolf River, but I don't know any specific owners they're talking to in that area.
Alan, if this Turner Russ Dunn tract, that'll be open to statewide season? Probably. And is there access? Did you see if there's an access to that?
I didn't have my information available.
Unless it's proclaimed a WMA, it'll just be in with the other miscellaneous lands along the Wolf River. It'll just be open to statewide season of bag limits. As far as access, I'm not, you know,
From the river. But there's no land access. I've got a call from one of the adjoining property owners concerned about it, the reason I'm asking.
It'll be access through the river, just like, the bridge track.
Right.
And just like the Chickasaw Basin Authority land, the only way you can access is by the river. You can't go down the railroad track, so it's river access.
That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions for Gordon? Anyone in the audience? Mr. Hamilton was a little camera shy. He didn't want to come to the mic, did he? Mr. Chairman, back to you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Griggs. Director Carter, would you like to address the commission?
I just have one more little thing here in way of an update and a question. You know, we've been working with Senator Alexander's office and several other people regarding Corps of Engineers and their plan to implement blockages below several of the Corps dams and restrict fishing. And there's been a number of pieces of federal legislation introduced. There was a rally last weekend, or weekend before last, in Kentucky with both Tennessee and Kentucky. Corps still seems to be going ahead with the plan as they have it outlined. I got a call last night from Senator Alexander's office wanting to know if they could get some legislation inserted in the Water Resources Act, which is, it's not a new piece of legislation, but they would get it inserted as an amendment. And it's, without going through the whole thing, essentially says that they would not block the areas off, but they would have to implement some other things. But the kicker is the enforcement would go to the state. And I told them that we had already made our statement that we would not do any enforcement on any of those restricted areas, with the exception of some of the things that we'd outlined, like inflatable life jackets that were automatic and several other measures like that. And I obviously don't have the authority to say what we will and won't do by rule, which is what this would take. So what I would be asking, since this is time sensitive, if y'all would give me the leeway to negotiate directly with Senator Alexander's office, and if there's something that we can live with in terms of enforcement, which is essentially how we got to where we are with wearing life jackets below the dams. There's some of those things I think we could work with, but there's other things that I don't think we would want to accept, and we've made that public already. So just in response to that, I know I'm asking you to buy a pig in a poke here, so to say, but I'll just guarantee that we won't do anything that would not fare well for the agency or the fishermen in that area.
Should we act on that tomorrow, or do we just want to?
I'm certainly can wait till tomorrow. I told her I would get back to her, so.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it right now. I'm just saying, is there any discussion among the commission?
I think we should, whatever we need to do to, without objection, we need to allow him to call as soon as possible.
By consent.
So by consent, then we give you permission.
Well,
Take
thank
it
you.
forward.
I appreciate that. And one last little thing, Ron, you didn't mention Andy Edwards today. I didn't know if you wanted to just make mention of his new position, and several commissioners will know him from his role in the foundation.
Andy Edwards is the new dedicated only to Tennessee Quail Forever representative. And the reason Andy's not here today is he's not flying too well. He's got a broken wing. He fell off a stepladder and broke his collarbone and right wrist. But Andy is a great asset. A lot of these people evidently don't know him as well as I do, because I've got nothing but compliments about how great it's going to be when he gets here. I appreciate you mentioning that, Director Carter.
Nat wanted me to remind you, there's a reception. It'll be right off the lobby, right where you checked in, sponsored by Henry County for you all. So that'll be at 5 o'clock. Shortly after that, we're going to the fish fry. We'll have a van running, or you can drive. It's over at the fairgrounds. We'll try to leave around 6 o'clock to go to that. Also, one last little thing, back to Senator Alexander. I don't want to say anything publicly because he's going to make a public announcement sometime the first week of May regarding some land that we've been working with for quite some time. And I think the commission will be very pleased when he finally does that. But I just wanted you to know that we'll be sending you some information about it in case some of you would like to attend. But other than that, that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other questions or comments from the commission?
Was the reception, is it here or over? It's
Here.
here, right, okay, thank you.
Well, I want to say that this is my 4th season setting recommendations from the agency, and I'd like to take credit as chairman that it went so smooth, but I know I can't do that. I'm just very pleased with the work that y'all have done, and I'm very pleased that there doesn't seem to be that much opposition to the things that you're suggesting. So I think that's a tribute to the agency and the commission, and the fact that our hunters are happy. So it's a great feeling. It's an unusual meeting today, but I'm very proud of it. So, and I do want to thank Region 1 and how y'all have tried to entertain us and make us feel, well, we are entertained, excuse me. Well, they're trying. It's not over. We got 2 more days of entertainment, so I'll give you the full effect tomorrow. But no, it's very appreciative. I think we got 2 meetings in Region 4, so the challenge is out, okay? So,
He just mad because he didn't catch any fish today.
but I got to fish with 3 women. Who else got to do that? No, she's not here. We won't tell her that. All right. But we do appreciate it, and I'm glad things went well, and I guess we're adjourned until tomorrow.